This is Susan Greif at
Atcheson.
and it's Thursday Thoughts at 3, and we're here to talk about
Codependency and women's health regarding that. If anybody has been following me this week, they know that I have been discussing very broad terms codependency, and there's a lot of people out there that are not even aware of what that means. They know they're in a relationship where they put, and it doesn't have to just be marital, it could be parental. They need out of them until they suck them dry.
right. So, in other words, we'll tend to be the victims, and it's the way you're raised, I guess. If you watched your parents' relationship, or if a parent was controlling of you, and so you learned to, in order to not be yelled at, you kind of stay low and you do what you're supposed to do, and you continue the relationships, right, over and over again.
Susan, for you, you're speaking a little personally, I do believe, to a degree. Our parents.
Yes, our parents are,
They taught us. It's very intergenerational.
right.
Very much so.
Right. So, but most people, they repeat relationships over and over again until they realize what's been going on in their life and what's been happening. So those people who are codependent basically give up their right, and they listen and they do whatever their partner tells them to do,
Pretty much.
because they're afraid. They're afraid of
Rejection.
they're afraid of criticism, they're afraid of
It's their need to be loved. They don't understand that you can take a little something for yourself and you will not lose their love, but they're afraid of the disappointment. They don't know how to handle it. It's such a fine line. I mean, I grew up in your kind of house. We have Holocaust survivor parents, so our need to please because of what they went through was huge. And they're Eastern European.
right.
So you couple that with our family. Hi, Rebecca. Hi, and Martha. We that kind of home, and everybody has this different kind of
Right.
home, but that's where we understand we wouldn't do anything to upset them after everything they've been through. And
Right.
this gets
There's a little guilt that we were raised
yeah.
with. Like, don't upset them. They've been through enough.
and they didn't have to say it, though they could, but we knew it.
Right.
We knew it. And because we had a roof over our head, and we had food in our bellies,
And education.
and we had so much more. So for me, that was the cycle. That's what I learned. You learn what's in your home. The cycle wasn't broken, and it worked for my parents. They had a wonderful marriage, but it taught me that subservient is where it's at if you want to be a good little wife. And
Right.
My whole first marriage of 23 years was all about that, to the point where my friends used to call me the doormat.
Oh.
Now, but it's okay, because my friends from, like, we're coaches, and I know there's a lot of people that are out there that are coaches or consultants, and part of our training now is learning about the brain. The brain is the very last organ to be researched and discovered and understood, and it's also the is involved in it. But the brain is pliable. So when people say
It's neuroplasticity for those.
Thank you.
Don't know it.
Right. So when people say you can't change, they're wrong. That's the old way of thinking. The question is, do you want to change? When you're in a relationship, and when I work with clients now, this is why I do what I do, and that's why my shirt is fearless, because that is who you should be. You have to be true to yourself.
Right.
You can't be good for others when you have no energy and you're sapped of energy. I mean, think about the airplane. What is the first thing when they're doing the exit doors are closed, go down? The oxygen mask goes on you first. And that's a hard lesson to learn when you've been taught that you give to everybody and everything else in the world.
Right, and as a visibility strategist, it's about coming out and being heard.
Coming out?
coming out and being heard.
Yes, exactly.
Coming out of your little box that
Yeah.
you were conformed into, whether it's coming out, whether it's being you. It's about being true to yourself, being authentically you, being heard, being seen, being you. So, you know, that's why we need to empower women. We need to give them the strength. We need to lift them up. We need to support them.
Yes.
And not be subservient,
Right.
because it's kind of...
The world is losing out on your essence and who you are. And
there's a couple of things you could look at. So if they draw themselves really tiny, there's usually a sense of insecurity and not feeling good, especially if the person that they're codepending on is much bigger. There's also
their brain to kind of think about the brain, and when you give it messages, it's like a track and this, or a gully, and you keep filling it up with water, and the sand and the sediment, it goes down, and your track just gets bigger and bigger, and that's the message you keep telling. Miserable, you are a victim, and the mess, and it just goes on and on. You can reprogram your brain.
Absolutely. I use the metaphor of the Play-Doh. I know I've said this to you before,
Yeah.
but the Play-Doh is like if you take the bowl of Play-Doh and pretend it's your brain, and you take the back of a pencil and keep stabbing it, saying you're worthless, worthless. Eventually, there'll be a big, deep groove in that little brain.
Correct, exactly.
And the
right.
only way would be you're amazing, or whatever
Right.
it is.
Exactly.
So,
It's really, and it's something you work on every day. The day you don't work on it, you go back to your old thinking, because, all right, for me, that's could be 50, 55, whatever years of training. So when you
Yeah.
think about that, it has to be a conscious effort every day. Fast example, I was with my grandkids dropping them off at school yesterday. Was running, it was an hour away. Morning traffic up Route 80. If anyone is here from Jersey and knows what Route 80 is. I was going to be running late for a consult, and then I get stuck behind a school bus, stopping every single bus with the red flag. So I'm sitting there in a normal me fashion going, oh my God. And then I said, stop. What would you be telling your client right now? And all of a sudden, I turned it around by going, I get to be with my grandchildren. I get to go to work and fulfill my passion and help clients. And I took away all the bullshit, for lack of better words, and looked at the things I am grateful for. And that's the kind of things, like, talk about pushing the hell out of the Play-Doh the other way.
Right.
And and these takes a lot of work. I mean, I'm doing it for myself a lot of years. But if you want to make the change, whether you want to stay in this relationship or not, it really is. Hi, Nanny. Hi, Renee. It is really up to you to work, and it's a constant work in progress. But your life will improve. It is positive work. It is not hard work. It is positive work.
Right, and then part of it is becoming aware of the negative self-talk, becoming aware of what you're actually saying to yourself, you know, because, you know, sometimes we'll do something and we'll say, I'm so stupid. That's disempowering. When you stop at the moment, it's like, wait a minute, who told me this? Like, who told me I'm stupid? I'm not. And you have to empower yourself to say no. And if those people who tell you you're stupid, it's like, no, it's a reflection of how they feel about themselves and their need to put you down.
Right.
Remember, those who are narcissistic, those who are abusive, those who put you in your box, they do it because they don't feel good about themselves. They feel stupid. They feel dumb. They feel inadequate. So in order to feel better about themselves, they need to put you down.
Right. Now, look, if it's a husband or a parent or a child or a close relationship, that's where you really have a lot of work to do before you say, nobody is going to treat me like this anymore. And that's really important, because nobody should treat you like that anymore. But friends, that's a whole other topic. How many times in our lives as women, and I'm sure men have done the same thing, other than there are friends for a season, a reason, and a lifetime, and those are your good friends where you just outgrow each other because you're at different phases in life. But toxic friendships, these are not good.
They're not.
Don't hang around for them.
Right.
You're not going to retrain a friend. You can tell them how you feel. If they make the change, that's great. They hear you. Apologies don't work if it's not backed up with actionable ways.
Right.
And at the end of the day, If they don't do it, it's not because they won't, it's because they can't. And then you have the decision to make. And you don't have to be the one who says, I'm not your friend anymore.
Right.
You're not. That's an 8-year-old reaction to a very emotional situation. There's adult ways to do it. And
Right.
that's where all this stuff comes in. Feel what you feel, but are you going to react like that little child, or are you going to react like the adult? The feelings and the actions. And that's really how I am trying to approach this codependency week, because there's no right or wrong. Everybody's journey is different, right?
Correct.
It's
Correct.
just, but tomorrow I'm not going to do Friday Fun Day. I'm doing Fearless Friday. I have to finish the codependency week because I was that doormat. I am not anymore. I am who I'm supposed to be, and everybody should be who they want to be, who they're meant to be, and we all have a message and something we can give.
Right.
Don't let anybody stifle that out of you.
Right, right. Don't be afraid to be heard. Don't be afraid to be seen. Remember, relationship is a give and take. It's a giving and receiving. We talk about, the heart chakra. It's about, giving out oxygen, receiving the deoxygenated blood, and changing the cycle again. So it's all about giving and receiving. If your heart doesn't feel that there's a giving and receiving in a relationship, it's not a well-balanced relationship, right? It's all about
Correct.
balance. If it's not balanced, it doesn't feel good. And it may create depression or anxiety for you.
Oh yes, totally.
So just be aware. Be aware when you're feeling, that trigger. Like, oh my God, like this doesn't feel right. Or why are they yelling at me? Because the truth is, they're just reflecting what they are. And it's not about you, it's about them. So catch yourself at that moment when you feel the trigger, when you feel your muscles tense, when you feel your heart racing and you're about to react, like she said. Like, don't react. Take a moment to take those 3 deep breaths into your belly. That will slow down your heart rate, that will relax your muscles, that will help you digest, and it'll help you think to act and not react.
But that's when a relationship is important. But remember, whether it's important or not, nobody has the right to treat you poorly. But you have to believe in your heart, and that is the biggest thing,
Right.
that you are worthy of better.
Yeah, and I think, for me, I always tell the women who come to me who are like in an abusive relationship, go find your tribe. Go find the women in your life that's going to lift you up and support you. Get your safety net. So if you're afraid of leaving a relationship, let's just say that you feel it's toxic, get your safety net ready. Strategize, let them help empower you.
Yeah.
You
And it
know?
could be siblings, it could be parental. Leaving close relationships or stepping back is never easy. But when you stop and realize that you are giving so much and you have nothing left to give, or somebody's manipulating you when you're trying to do something for yourself and all they want is for you to put them first, at some point you can't worry anymore about why they're doing it. That's their problem.
Right.
They need to go for help. You need to take care of yourself because your health is your wealth. And what you need to do, life's short. I say this, guys, all the time. We don't know what tomorrow brings. Live your best life. Be who you were meant to be. Don't let anybody control you. But you should not control anyone either.
True, that's true. The only other thing I must mention
Yes.
is that if you want to pursue a healthy relationship, if the other person doesn't feel that it's their problem, then that is a problem, because the relationship goes 2 ways, right?
Absolutely. And it's a partnership. And that's where we come in, teaching people how to communicate effectively. And that's the deal, guys. And empower. So it's Memorial Day weekend. We have to really thank everybody who has helped us.
Yes.
As far as our soldiers
who
gave to this country.
who allowed us the liberty to go and barbecue and see our family and friends and enjoy life. I mean, because of them, we have this freedom. So we thank you.
And we even have this freedom to have these conversations. And we think you guys are awesome. And we have Mark and we have Nina and we have so many people that joined today. Karen. So thank you all so much. Have a great holiday.